For Nalani Stark, legacy matters, maybe more than most things. Important enough that when that legacy, inextricably tied to her mother's memory, is challenged, she's forced to consider even the most undesirable options, such as a match made in hell with Orion Sterling, the heir to the competitor she grew up being warned about. Orion is a man well accustomed to getting exactly what he wants. Other than opportunities to grow the family business, he's moved by very few things, one of which happens to be Nalani Stark. They each have something the other needs, and only one way to get it: a contract that delineates exactly what each person takes from the arrangement. Simple enough, unless feelings get brought into the exchange. Please be aware that this work contains profanity, detailed sex acts, and depictions of violence. There are also mentions of pregnancy loss, parental death, grief, illness, and medical emergencies. All the women independent, throw your hands up at me. All the mamas clocking dollars, throw your up at me. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that. Ladies, I didn't get down like that. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that. Charlie, how you ain't just get down like that. Da, 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 da. Something, what is it, Angel Style? Da, 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 da. However that shit go. Anyway, let's jump right into this thing. Maybe no, never mind. So we're introduced to Nalani. She's walking into Nectar, on her corporate swag. She got a drink in each hand, just power walking. She looked good. She got a cream dress on. And her phone is, just constantly ringing. As soon as it stops, it's ringing again. But, she's not wanting to risk getting her dress dirty, so she doesn't answer it until she gets to her office. And when she does get to her office, she realizes that it's her father who's been calling her multiple times. And before she even gets a chance to call him back, he's calling again. So, she answers to see, like, Dad, what is it? So he says, you're needed in the big office, and the big office is his office. So we get a little backstory of Nectar being a organic grocery store that her family has owned for many years. And, as she's walking, she can just feel something is off. It's in the air. So when she gets to her father's office, the CFO, who she doesn't particularly care for, is also there because she has had plans of wanting to grow the family business and constantly being told, no, it's not in the budget. We can't afford that. So, we can't do that. So, they're both sitting there like somebody just ran over their puppy dogs. And so she's like, what's going on? And as soon as she says, like, what's the matter? A third voice says, the rent. And she's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm your landlord, and you guys haven't been able to pay the rent for a while. And she's confused by this because it's like, first of all, my family has owned not only the building, but the land that it's on before Blackwood became Blackwood. And he's like, that's funny because your daddy sold to us and I bought it, and now you can't pay the rent. And so she's like, what? How is that possible? Like, why would you do a thing like that? And the dad is like, well, your mom's medical bills got to be too high. And she cuts him off like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. We could have pulled money together. You could have told me. You could have told my brother. We could have told other family members. Like, there's no reason why you had to sell our business or sell the the property that it was on. And she's like, how much? And he says 10 million. So she's like, that small amount? Like, we definitely could have came up with that amount. So, now she's looking at her dad like, you really did this to our family. And, this is where she learns that the man that she's talking to, his name is Orion, and he is the CEO of Wholesome Foods, which I found hilarious. Um, but he's coming with a proposition. Now he's like, you can either lose your family business or you can marry me. And of course she's like, ain't no fucking way. I'm not doing that. Why would I? I'm not marrying you. No, I'm not doing it. And while she's trying to stand her ground, you got Orion who was threatening her, and then the dad is like, basically do it so he can be saved in a way. So all the love and care that she possibly ever had for her father went out the window. And kind of find out it wasn't her mom's medical expenses. He has a gambling problem. I was like, you lying motherfucker. So she, of course, agrees because she wants to keep their family legacy, just that, a legacy, and keep it in the family. So, of course, she's not feeling Orion any chance she gets. She just like, don't talk to me. This is strictly business. And they create a contract where, just to say what each one gets. He's really offering, like, you could keep everything. Everything stays in your name. It stays in the family. He really just wants a wife. And she's like, you could get anybody to do this. And he's like, that's true, but I want you. And he's attracted to her. And I kind of found it funny because, like, when you're reading it and you realize he's like, I could have pursued her like the right way, but he felt like that would have took too much time. And basically, like, he kind of wanted her now. And so, they're going over the contract. She tells her she has two best friends. Now, one friend, I believe, is best friends with the youngest brother. And her other friend, I forgot her name and I hate it, but I know it starts with an M. She used to, I want to say it's Monet. She used to date the oldest brother and they were actually engaged, but the older brother let his mom get into his head and he basically like left her. And so, she's basically said fuck that family ever since because he didn't defend her to the mom. Like, he basically listened to his mama and dumped her because the mama felt like she was a little hoochie who didn't deserve to be in their family or near their family. Now, Nalani, who her nickname is Nala. So she lost her mother. And after this situation, she basically lost her father because it was just like she started to see how dirty he was. Like, Orion was peeling back the layers. Like, your dad is not who you think he is. He's not a good businessman. And he never was. And come to find out, which I guess because she had been fed lies about the Sterling family, she never knew that they were all friends, meaning Orion's parents and her parents were friends at one point. And actually, I believe her mom was with his dad, but then Nala's dad, like, basically underhanded the dad, Orion's dad. And because he didn't come from money like how everybody else did, and he just wanted to get his hands on a business, he got Nala's mom, married her, and basically made it a competition between the two families where there was not one. So basically, he crossed over his friend. And even then, it's like, it wasn't him that was taking care of the business. It was Nala's mom. So he's never had a business mind. He just wanted his hands on some money. But it's like, it's obvious why you didn't have any because you don't know what to do with it. So, and it seems like it was never really said because Nala's mom was sick. I believe she had cancer. So she was possibly on her way out anyway. But it seems like the dad killed her to get the business because she was making plans to like switch some stuff over. But before that could happen, she was dead. And, Orion is there to help her uncover all this stuff because it's just like, you've basically had the wool pulled over your eyes for so long. So I'm here to help you out. And also along the way, because she has a ex-hood boyfriend or whatever who calls himself popping back up, but she had to let him know, like, I'm engaged, don't touch me. And Orion comes around like, I'm not scared of you. Get your hands off my woman. Know your place before I help you know it. And when what happened? She I forgot. It was like she discovered something else, and her brother had like the majority of. Oh, have y'all ever seen Riches? This reminds me of Riches a little bit. On Amazon Prime, the British show. It was giving me that tease. It was real good. Where they had the majority of the shares, so they voted the dad out as CEO as well as firing the CFO. And I'm bringing that up to say because after he got fired, the dad is like, "You're gonna regret this," and sent her ex boyfriend basically just, excuse me, to rough her up a little bit. And she didn't say anything to Orion about it, but Orion got eyes on her at all time. He's like, "Girl, you may not be taking this serious, but I am. Like, I really like you. We're really getting married. We're really gonna build something within this relationship." So it's like when she didn't tell him about it, he's like, "Oh, you thought I was playing?" But then the ex, like, he goes into hiding, and Orion says he gonna pop back up eventually, and when he do, I'm gonna be standing right there waiting on his ass. Now they also had in their uh contract that they were going to have a baby because of course you got to keep the legacy going. Now unfortunately she forgot that she still had her birth control in, so she had to like sneak away, or she thought she was sneaking away, child, to go to the hospital to get it taken out. But of course she got bodyguards on her because after that thing happened with the ex, he had people following her, watching her. I think actually before that, to make sure she's all right. And so when she came home later on that day, he like, "You got anything you want to tell me?" And she's like, "No, why would I have anything to tell you?" He's like, "I don't know. You the one that went to the doctor today. What happened?" And so she was scared to tell him because she didn't want him to think that she was breaking the contract and like trying to stop herself from actually getting pregnant when they had agreed to that. So when she tells him what she was scared of happening is exactly what happened. That man goes off the rail, accuse her of doing it on purpose. And they had just like started to gain weight just a little bit where she was almost letting her guard down. And the way he flipped out, it hurt her feelings. And, basically she left. And he realized that he wasn't right about it. So he came back, apologized. And it's just like, I'm really starting to like you. But and it's just like, you can't blame her because it's like, you forced me into the situation. So at all times, I feel like I got to watch my back with you and watch where you coming from. While his thing is like, I've shown you that I've been nothing but genuine and that I have your back at all costs and that I'm trying to show you the snakes that you have around you. So why are you questioning me at all? And so then we find out that her brother, while he's still her brother, they don't share the same father. She actually, not she, he has a different dad. And when she see the man, it's like, okay, y'all remember I just did Bianca's Frisco story, right? Where her best friend was like, "Oh, you got his whole face." Basically, same thing. It's like when you finally put two and two together, it's like, damn, you look just like him. But Orion had like word out on the street looking for her dad. And I forgot about this because the lady, like, she really didn't mean nothing to the story, but after Orion's mom had died, his dad got remarried for a little while before he died. And the woman was still coming around, like she still lived in the family house or whatever. And Nala asked him at one point, like, why is she still here? Because she would be flirting with Orion and his other two brothers, like basically trying to get married back into the family. Because she feel like what the husband left her wasn't enough. So she basically stayed around to see who she could sink her claws into, and they let her do the shit. Because at one point, they was having family dinner. I think this was before they got married. And the woman was like forking up food to put it into his mouth. He like slaps it away. Like, I told you to get the hell away from me with that. And because she has the family last name, it was some gathering where she was too close. And they like, y'all got incest going on around here? And that's when she found out, like, even though she has the last name, she is not family. But anyway, the stepmama was helping her dad at one point, basically trying to get over on her. And so when they was found, the dad was killed and she was killed too. And when they found CJ got his ass whooped. That was the ex's name. I don't know, was it CJ or EJ? It was something J. But anyway, he got dealt with. So in the end, it was them. They had a baby boy. And she finally realized that what they had was love. Because he's like, I want to do this for real. So let's do this for real. So I can't wait till the next book. Because I'm hoping, I know it's going to be the brothers. But do I want the youngest brother? No, I want the older brother because I want to see how him and Monet, like how they come back together. Because when they was out at lunch one day, like the three girls, Orion showed up, but he had his brothers with him. And the brother tried to talk to Monet, but she was just like, hey, you don't say nothing else to me, basically like that's it. But yeah, that was it. It was a great book. I hope you guys go pick it up. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you back for the next episode.